think Mirage is really going to set the tone for this game, right? It's either going to be fantastic and FaZe are going to come out swinging and they're going to have learned from their mistakes, and then we're going to see a 3-map series. If it's anything like it was against Renegades yesterday, I honestly don't see FaZe taking this to a 3rd map.
We will have to wait and see as we plummet straight first into the map of Mirage with FaZe on the T side, Vitality occupying the CT side, as you'd expect with it being FaZe's choice. And they're not going to be waiting around here either, Wolfie. They're already going in for a set play over on the A side, smoking off stairs, smoking off jungle, and just pushing straight towards the A side of the map, getting the bomb down instantly, and now it's down to Vitality and see how good their retake is.
Immediate 5v5 retake going to be required, and FaZe with plenty of presence, immediate trades starting to come through, but RPK is going to get the better of FaZe in the early engagement, forcing them back from CT and into the 4-on-3. ZywOo finds another, finally starting to find his form before Brokey trades onto Apex. Still frags going the way of Vitality though, and nothing Brokey can do in essentially a 4 versus 1. Alex is going to be able to get the defuse off, and for Vitality, honestly, that's a really good start. You start to get your players fragging out. Alex looked really good in game 1 and then struggled against Astralis, so to see him getting 2 early frags in the pistol round, start to maybe build that confidence.
Absolutely. A team that often will rest on ZywOo's shoulders, but we have seen more players come to the forefront, the likes of Alex really up there and swinging with the best of them. A player that many people had question marks over when his initial pickup came to the light, especially with the leadership role on the table, but he's proved a lot of naysayers wrong. FaZe, in the meanwhile, deciding not to go for a force buy behind the bomb plant. Many T-sides will, as you can jump into SGs very early on. So FaZe playing for the bigger picture.
Perhaps looking to get the AWP into the hands of one of those players early on, and just, I can understand it from the viewpoint of FaZe. At this point, they've got some pistols, they've got a few deagles. We all know what FaZe can do with deagles. It was Rain on Mirage, who was just absolutely destroying everybody with the deagle yesterday. So I think I can understand it. At the same time, I would have quite liked to see a little more pressure being applied here on Vitality. The buy had room for some more utility. It had room for armor if they wanted as Rain. Gonna take the early contact, but this time the deagle not quite on the same form of old, and he's gonna have to fall back. Alex might still aggress though, and oh, Rain so nearly able to pick up the first frag.
Very close to breaking the deadlock of round 2 and getting FaZe back in amongst it. Of course, it was Rain yesterday that was absolutely sensational on Mirage. FaZe early on are struggling to really get any foothold over Mirage, either in middle or towards the A side. Rain can see the shins just protruding around the corner, but Alex is still going to get his man with the UMP. And Vitality in a pretty solid position to hold on and take a 2-0 lead, especially considering here, Wolfie, that there's only 25 seconds to play with for FaZe. They're going to be walking into crossfires.
Vitality so well set up for it as well. 3 players in towards this bomb site, although Nico going to be able to take him down with Olof's help, taking out Apex, and this starts to put a little bit of pressure back onto them, and then indeed Olof going to grab himself a second, leaving ZywOo, and a fast rotation from Alex just going to cut the bomb out. ZywOo gets himself a second. And Vitality, honestly, that was far closer than it should have been. They had everything their way. The time was good. They'd found early damage and early frags, but FaZe, that's what they can do to you, right? Any gun, any area of the map, they're still going to punish you with headshots.
Absolutely, and that's the issue with FaZe. They are such an individually skilled team. It's just whether they can all click together that has been the problem in the past. They are a team with a lot of story and a lot of issues in their rosters. They have changed a few times already. Adren, of course, recently being replaced. Rocky up to the table, and he is the first player to be tagged down. Very low, not quite dropped though, alongside coldzera, who's going to feel the pinch of the M4 spray. Rain, though, does chip in with the first kill. The wide swing from ZywOo is only going to get him the 1 frag back, and everything's starting to crumble now for Vitality.
3 versus 2, and those early trades just not quite working out for them. The Kriegs at range, so powerful for the T side, and FaZe admittedly haven't got too much map control off the back of it, right? They've got 3 players in towards middle at the moment. There's no pincer available onto either bomb site, but they have got the CTs very spread. Alex over towards A, and Shock's just starting to think about the rotation into mid window. This timing couldn't actually be better, as Olof going to use yet more utility, and Vitality going to go for the full stack of the A bomb site here. Understandable, because they're just going to want to put all their M4s in one place and hope beyond all hope that FaZe head their way. Unfortunately, the bomb is starting to make its way up short, so Vitality perhaps looking down the barrel of a save here.
Absolutely. It has a double effect. You can stack the site, and if they push into it, there's a chance of clutching the round. If not, keep the M4s, as you say, and try and run with something in the next round. But that does mean that FaZe, early on, their choice of map of Mirage will be striking fast and hard. And Vitality are going to be struggling. They're just making sure that all the angles are covered to make sure there's no pesky CTs, one of these corners that can maybe drop the bomb in an awkward position and win the round off time. Now they realize, okay, this round is ours. Vitality haven't really budged too much. They're going to start to move back towards the T side. I think both teams will be relatively happy to hold on to their weapons at this stage, so I wouldn't expect to see any more bloodshed.
No, just start to build up a little bit of cash. And honestly, the one thing that scared me there is Cold with the bomb on his back checking into the B apartments. That terrifies me, because all it would have taken would have been one CT player there with a scope trained in, and that would have been a kill. Bomb dropped in such an awkward position over towards the van as well, but luckily for FaZe, he gets away with it, and the three players are going to look to exit. Just keep their hands on those Kriegs. They will know, of course, that if you give a Krieg over to the CT side, you are in for a world of pain. So happy just to sit back, and happy to allow Vitality to keep the AK and the M4 respectively. They'll know the cash isn't good on the CT side. They'll be happy with that.
Question now for Vitality is, do you buy behind these two weapons? They could feasibly drop from Shox' perspective. It would include some SMGs. But it's still so early on in the round, in the map, in this best of three. Of course, one team progresses, one is left on the sidelines. Why would you go for the risk? You may as well just try and hold on with these two rifles. It'll get you a buy in the next round, including an AWP. Apex, right idea, just slightly wrong timing.
Yeah, especially given the fact that the economy isn't great for FaZe either. So if even Alex and Shox just find a 1-for-1 trade, it's not going to be ideal for your T side. And that's what they're going for immediately. Alex looking to get aggressive with RPK to back him up. And this is a lot of information gathered for Vitality. They know this isn't going to be a hit through the apartments. Brokey watching for the deep flank might be put into question here, as RPK and Alex are just going to keep wandering through, hoping perhaps nobody's watching the back. RPK going to get his head ripped off by Brokey. But does he expect the second player? Resets on the angle, looks for more. Alex going to take the contact, but no damage done, so at least managing to stay up with that AK-47 and perhaps give his team a little more firepower as FaZe do take that mid control.
Brocky nearly able to double his mark in round 4. Again, though, FaZe keeping their options open, flashing over onto ramp, keeping the CTs interested, something that we've seen the likes of Cloud9 and Nip in our previous best of 3 fail to do is sell these fakes, but it doesn't really matter if you're going to come straight out and rip Apex apart with the AK-47. That being said, though, Alex still in the apps for a few moments later, or longer I should say, later on in the round does get found and fragged, and it's all fit into position for FaZe. There are a couple of wobbles, a couple of shakes, but just the one casualty, and that will be Nico.
Yeah, Vitality could have done with a little bit more there. I think they would have been hoping to find at least 2 frags and just keep that pressure on, but instead they get through it relatively cleanly for FaZe, and they're going to be feeling confident as well coming off the back of that. Rain hitting his shot as well onto Apex. That's a shot and a half with the AK. And as Vitality do get their buy up, they're going to be making some significant sacrifices. ZywOo down onto a FAMAS, and the utility very slim across the board.
Well, for the first time that ZywOo's tried some aggression through middle, he did get a kill last time, but was traded instantly. Extinguishing the Molotov allows him safe passage back into connector, but this could be his final resting place if he's not careful. Rain again in fine form, pivots round, and Shox has been sent reeling. He's had a bit of a rough one with his tenure in Vitality, and this round is going to be faring no better, and Rain continues the onslaught, continues the massacre. Vitality just can't seemingly get comfortable right now. They are just being pushed and probed from every possible angle.
Oh, Rain gets another as well. ZywOo with a 5v1 and a FAMAS. With the AWP, you might back him, but with just a FAMAS up on the stairs, nothing to be doing at all. He's going to spot Olof jumping and will be able to find at least one. Make that a second as he pivots to quickly take out Rain, who has been an absolute hero for FaZe on Mirage so far. But now just thinking about what he can get away with here. There's an AK-47 dropped, and he'd be wise just to pick that up and hightail it. He's going to go instead for the quick movement, try and catch someone off guard. Nico's going to get the better of him, and FaZe, with 3 players alive, managed to take the lead for the first time on Mirage. And honestly, there's some slightly worrying signs for Vitality here.
There really are. Rain has 5 kills, which doesn't seem like a huge amount in the 6th round, but it's the impact that those kills have had. He's been getting doubles and triples. Yesterday, around the 10-round mark, he had over 200 ADR against Renegades. He absolutely steamrolled them. It did slow down, though. I will say from Vitality's perspective, if they watch that game, they'll notice that FaZe did run out of a bit of a steam. It was also Olofmeister that had a very good start and slowed down somewhat. It's going to be a fast play, though. They're not going to wait around. Now, it is against pistols. This is where they could start to run into a little bit of a blockade. They've done a good job, though, of locking down Shadow, and the rest should fall into position. Shox and ZywOo stuck on the wrong side of the smokes from their perspective, and to make matters worse, the shrapnel that's going to be picked out of their teeth if they want to try and get onto the site. Coldzera puts bullets to faces, and FaZe Clan looking very likely, barring a miracle, to get a 4th round in a row.
Absolutely perfect from FaZe again, just clearing every single angle, not leaving anything to chance, and not giving the likes of ZywOo any room to breathe and any room to pull off something a little bit magical. Shox, the last man alive, just hoping beyond all hope that someone will wander into the crosshairs. Now he starts to think about that peak, and Olof has seen him straight through the wood. He's going to find the wall bang, and another flawless round for FaZe. All 5 players kept up. They are really starting to build up ahead of steam, but as you said, Vitality, they'll know if they could just hang on in here, then potentially we're going to start seeing those same issues coming out in the later rounds where FaZe start to lose this momentum.
That's what the hope has got to be, especially on their choice of map. But this ain't boxing. The rope-a-dope doesn't necessarily work on Counter-Strike. FaZe aren't going to be tiring themselves out, so it's going to be down to Vitality. They're going to have to take the initiative at some stage and start to make FaZe, that key word we used a lot on the first day, respect them. Because right now, FaZe are running amok in middle, and they're getting everything their way, and of course it's that man again. The Norwegian batters it down with the AK. Everyone's chipping in, though. Everyone's hungry. Their bloodlust has not been satiated yet. And Vitality, their heads must be spinning here, Wolfie. What the hell can they possibly do? Just
3 frags out of nothing. FaZe win every opening engagement, and it leaves Shox and RPK looking down the barrel of a very rough situation, trying to get aggressive. RPK has been taken down, and Shox, interestingly, opted to pick up the AWP over ZywOo coming into this one, but he's going to be put under pressure now, waiting for it, and will just go for the no-scope to take down Cole, but he knows he's got to try and keep his hands on that AWP, and with 4 FaZe players rapidly approaching, he's going to have to do one hell of a job to achieve it. Could put a decent dent in that T-sided economy if he finds a few more frags, but first up, Nico wanders straight in, so Shox still managing to stay alive, buying time as Brokey on the AWP looks to correct the issue.
The issue here is even if he does get a 3rd kill, it's basically pocket change to FaZe. You can see their economy is booming. Everybody, 9,000 plus. Now, obviously, that's going to be depleted a little bit with the replenished guns here, but still, you're looking at Vitality to have to win 2 or 3 rounds on the bounce just to start to get FaZe Clan in a bit of an awkward position. And I'm completely on board with this timeout. You got the first couple rounds, you were able to execute through the pistol, get a beautiful retake, things were looking great, and then FaZe just shifted into a different gear, and they've been second best ever since. So call timeout, get some kind of relief, try and have a discussion about what you can change and how you can possibly get this back underway, or just hold the momentum from FaZe and stop that head of steam, as you said. Try and evaporate any kind of momentum as quickly as you can.
Try and work out why Shox is taking the AWP, right? That feels like it has to go to ZywOo.
This is one of those things, man. Like, Shox and AWPing, it's a funny old thing. Teams he goes into, he either wants to try an IGL in, wants to be the primary AWPer, and you got Alex and you got ZywOo here who are like, nah, that's our role, son, get out.
Vitality, something has to change, right? I'm hoping that timeout gives them a little bit of momentum. Just a mental reset as well for the CT side would be great. They've got Deagles across the board, 3 smokes to work with. And this is one of those buys where even 2 frags would be good for the CT side. Just take one of those Kriegs away and go hide it in some distant corner of the map where FaZe cannot find it. And perhaps that will give you a jump start on your CT side of things. Relatively spread across the map, the CT side, of course, with a slight hint of a stack towards that A-bomb site. 3 players there. And again, FaZe, methodical. They're not taking any risks. They're not making any early rushes, not walking into the stacks, just slowly and cleanly clearing mid.
Slight gap in that smoke. Not going to be able to exploit it at the moment. It's sad times if you're a French fan, by the way. G2 had a massive lead. They've let it slip. Mousesports have taken the first map over on the A stream. So Vitality hoping to wave that French flag high and mighty on Mirage. So far, it's a bit of half-mast. No players have fallen, though, and we do have 35 seconds still on the timer, so FaZe are going to have to get a move on. This is where things could get a little bit dicey. It does seem as though B site is going to be their choice.
As soon as I say FaZe are handling this well, they waste a ton of time in towards mid, and now they're going to be wandering into RPK and Shox, a couple of Deagles, and there's tags to work with as well here. Brokey going to be the first one to go out, but nothing hitting at all. RPK towards the back bench, trying to get something going, but FaZe just absolutely wreck their way through the B bomb site. The bomb goes down for free, and ZywOo and Apex, I think one frag and a rifle recovered at this point would be a significant win, because quite frankly, FaZe are hitting their shots and Vitality just aren't at the moment.
Vitality also seem timid, Wolfie. It seems as though they're a bit shy. Like they're gun shy. Come on, guys, get in there. Let's see some aggression. Especially on these rounds where you're looking at pistols, you're looking at half-buys. You've got to make FaZe get out of their rhythm. They're feeling it right now. Everything's clicking for them. That's better from Apex, but it's not going to do anything to get this round. The bomb is about to detonate. He's not going to be able to save a weapon either. Now, obviously, they do have mass and full round loss bonus available to them, so they're going to be able to get a buy anyway. Please, if there's any sanity left in the French scene, let ZywOo have the AWP. Thanks, Shox.
Thank you very much, mate. And finally, he gets his hands onto it. Going to be sacrificing near enough all his utility. Just one smoke to work with, and Shox picks up the secondary. So clearly not happy that he didn't have it in his hands. He's going to invest onto it as well. Double AWP setup coming out for the CT side, and this feels like a very early do or die moment for Vitality. That is such a heavy economic investment to be coming into this round with, and with no contest towards mid, again, FaZe going to take a lot of map control for free in this opening engagement.
I mean, all jokes aside, double AWP is absolutely fine, but Shox has got to do something with it, and he nearly gets timed in the apps. If that wide swing came in, he would have been avenged with two players in the apps with coldzera and Olofmeister. Now, this is completely fine for Shox to go for it, but with such a hefty investment, this is maybe their Hail Mary that they called the timeout for. That Molotov is beautiful. It's going to force them both out, and that's going to be Olofmeister going down. Now, coldzera's been able to perch himself up and actually mitigate the Molotov. That's going to completely catch RPK off guard, and it's actually not even coldzera that shows himself. Nico in the meanwhile from short. And this is the issue with not having middle control, Wolfie. That's always a possibility. You're going to just get pushed from short side.
And with that aggression as well coming in from the CT side, all it takes is two frags and the bomb site's completely open. There's nobody holding. There's no backstop for Vitality, and FaZe just swarm in, and immediately the CT side calling the save because they have invested super heavily into this round. That second AWP has been lost, a rifle gone off the back of RPK, and Alex, at least they were going to be able to find a consolation frag. Taking out Rain and bringing it back into the 3-on-3. Nico not happy with that. He's going to start to make his way in towards the kitchen and perhaps try and take away one more rifle because they'll know the CT economy is so fragile. Alex, though, stands firm and manages to find himself a double kill. Going to keep 3 rifles up, which may just about strap together a buy for the CT side coming into the next.
7-2. Looks every bit as demoralizing as the score would suggest. Vitality lost one of the AWPs, still possess one in the hands of ZywOo. Now, we did say coming into this, Wolfie, that we feel as if Vitality's choice of nuke is pretty ironclad. They've got a very impressive streak on nuke as it stands. So if FaZe is going to take us to that third map, it would have to be Mirage. And so far, they have been passing that very comfortably indeed. My issue here is that Vitality haven't shown me enough to have much belief in them going forward after Mirage, assuming it does go the way of FaZe. And when Rain is just picking up entries all over the map, it's going to be that much more scary. That being said, though, Apex has done a ton of damage through the smoke. Everybody, barring coldzera, has been weakened significantly, and Alex has been given an opportunity to push around the back. This is the aggression I was talking about. This is what I wanted to see.
Vitality needed a change of pace, and they found it as well. Plenty of damage done, but can they find the conversion? Bomb goes down. Brokey deep scoping into CT as this flank looks to come through. Alex will get one for free, and he's going to look for the information as well. The trigger discipline. He's going to take the kill finally. The information will be there for FaZe. 2 players down, but Alex finds his second. Shox chimes in with one more. and Nico with just 5 HP to work with to try and deny it. Alex is going to straight stick the defuse, and Nico, he's not even going to be able to peek this in time. Surely Shox has got him absolutely locked down. That defuse is going to come in. Vitality will finally bite back their first full rifle success, and they do manage to keep that AWP, and in fact, they managed to grab themselves a second as well.
Now that's all well and good, but that comes off the back of an exquisite read into aggression. This isn't the kind of strat that Vitality can go for time after time. And again, you look at the economy of FaZe, cool, you got around, they're still super rich. So Vitality, they get themselves a rifle round, that's great news, but they've got to build upon this, Wolfie. They can't afford to just concede again and go back into that same rhythm of losing.
They need some more consistency, to say the least. Apex with a nice nade is going to find some chip damage onto Rain and Brokey. More nades to follow things up, and Rain and Brokey both around the half HP mark. Near enough immediately. I do like that play from Vitality. I still want to see a little bit more mid-control coming out from them. They've currently got 4 players on the A bomb site, leaving Shox completely alone with that AWP towards B.
Middle control again, though, falling the way of FaZe. And not really anyone from Vitality to try and trade off against this. Now, of course, this could just be a call from Alex. Look, we can't really go toe-to-toe with FaZe in middle, so let's just give up and play more passive angles. Let's not overextend the likes of apps and then get pushed from short as we saw earlier. Let's make sure that we do have trifectas set up on the A side as well. That being said, though, it does mean that FaZe can retain a lot of their utility going through into the dying embers of these rounds. You can see there's 3 Molotovs still in their hands. That you do also have to say, though, Wolfie, 2 players low, and they haven't really gained too much ground. Now they're going to be going through connector. That grenade is a tactical nuke, and it lands flush on the face of 3 players. This should be a cleanup. This should be a sweep up from Vitality, and so far, that's exactly what's coming up. Rocky and Olaf Meister stuck around jungle and connector. They don't even have control of the bomb just yet. If Olaf wants to pick that up, he's going to have to go into the open ground of connector and likely will be shut down in the backside, or maybe not. Apex actually whiffing out on his bullets. 13 seconds now to make something special happen. ZywOo nearly gift wraps his life away. 8 seconds to go. 2-on-2. There is enough time for the bomb plant, and Olaf is sticking it. Molotov is going to keep them at bay. ZywOo with the free pick on the outside, but it's now a 1-on-1. It's ZywOo against Olaf, and the AWP against the SG, and ZywOo's gonna connect through the boxes. Vitality can breathe a sigh of relief, because that round should never have gone down to a 1-on-1 retake.
And again, that utility you spoke about was so important. FaZe, with 8 seconds left on the clock, threw 2 Molotovs into CT and completely locked it out. That allowed them to get the bomb down, and that gave them that room to breathe that very nearly came back to bite Vitality. ZywOo starting to bring up perhaps a little bit of that old form, finding himself a 1-on-2, finding a couple of picks. Although FaZe, of course, with that economy built up, they're going to be on such a strong buy yet again. Not even looking like it's going to break in the next round if they keep on losing. So Vitality, it's not going to get any easier. Every round has to be perfect. And Rain going to dodge the crosshair of ZywOo early on.
FaZe just making Vitality work for every scrap, every inch of the map, even in rounds that look like they're done. ZywOo, though, is feeling it. Confidence surging through him with a peek. We haven't seen him really play off short so far. Now he's going to catch them unawares. But now Nico comes in with the AK, claims more frags, going to hold connector to make sure a re-rotation is thwarted and cut short as fast as possible. Shox catching Brokey out in middle. That's a freebie of a kill. But the bomb still not planted as of yet, and Alex making moves through ramp is found and dealt with accordingly by Olaf. 3-on-3, another rotation coming in.
Alex just had to stay alive there, had to buy time for the rotations from the CT side. As it is, Vitality in very passive position. Shox is going to be making a play in towards the apartments, but this time there is no free kill. coldzera is not up there, looking completely the wrong way. Nice flashes come in for Vitality, and Olaf fully blind is going to be found by Shox. 3-on-2 now, and Cold and Nico with the crossfires. The Molotov's not there for the CT side, so Cold going to get one more from under dark, and ZywOo, desperate to get in, knows that Nico is still lurking somewhere. No information at all as Cold finds another, and the last man, ZywOo, nothing he can do as Nico finds his head, and FaZe, they get straight back into it, and that economy again for Vitality just starts to shake.
Even the 2 rounds they picked up, 2 defusals, plenty of casualties, hemorrhaging cash, and now it catches up with them. Vitality in such a tentative position on this CT side of Mirage. And it was FaZe yesterday that were unstoppable on their CT side against Renegades. This is the half where Rain was just having a field day. Yes, he started to get kills on the T side, but it was the CT side where he shone brightest. It doesn't bode well for Vitality here, I've got to say, and even the rounds they've won, they've been resting on ZywOo too much. They've been resting on these individual plays.
And it feels like the individuals aren't quite up for the task at times. ZywOo in that 2v1, you would have backed him normally, but immediately gets his head ripped off. And Vitality, 4 rounds behind, will have to go for another eco. 4 Deagles, the 1 P250 onto RPK, and a little bit of utility to work with. But again, Apex hoping for a timing with the nade, and he's only going to get a little bit of chip damage on this occasion. Not quite as perfect as it was previously. And Shox thinking about the boost, but look at this from Rain. He knows exactly what's happening. He spotted the shoulder. He's waiting for the peak, and he'll find the early tag as well. That is perfect from FaZe Clan once more. And again, they're giving Vitality absolutely nothing, right? They're not pushing aggressively. They're not wandering into stray crosshairs of pistols. They're playing this slowly. They're considering their options, although ZywOo almost and does catch the timing onto Rain as soon as I say that. And perhaps half an opportunity now for Vitality.
ZywOo looking desperately for the weapon that was dropped down, but he was just the wrong side of the smoke and connector. Nico has it covered. But this hit-and-run style, this guerrilla warfare that Vitality have gone for in Underpass is only going to be effective as long as FaZe stay tentative and passive and disciplined. Once they decide to execute on a site, they're going to have the advantage, but they have lost another player in the form of Nico. Now they can retrieve a couple of these weapons. Now they can use the AKs against the oncoming Ts. There is only 1 Kevlar that Vitality possess, however, so aim punch is going to be an issue for everyone barring Apex. Smokes and Molotovs tossed out on the key choke points. Just under 30 seconds to play with, and a solid flashbang allows Shox to now push in. There's no cover on the offense. ZywOo is going to be landing more alongside Apex. And not only do Vitality somehow pull the round out the back, they only lose 1 player in the process.
That was exactly what Vitality needed. Such a smoothly executed round. And FaZe, is this the mistakes we started to see from them in the mid-game yesterday? Is this that mental switch off? ZywOo gets an early pick, sure, but FaZe, they should still be able to clean that one up, but they barrel into the A-bomb site, lack of utility on the execute, and then they just get picked off, right? 1 by 1. Shots are being hit by Vitality, and it almost looked like there was a lack of communication. Shox should have been spotted as he was flashed out from CT, but Olof, too busy holding connector, gives his life away, and the round just falls apart from there.
It's strange, isn't it? Because I honestly feel like FaZe started that round really well. They held off, they played anti-eco. As you said, they didn't run into a site, they didn't give anything away for free. It's an issue that we saw Nip do a lot earlier today. We saw Cloud9 do it yesterday. We were commentating that game. And FaZe were effectively standing at arm's reach and said, look, we have the superior firepower, superior utility. We're fine if this goes into the late round. Well, they didn't factor in the ZywOo factor. And he just ripped their heads off. So that is just one of those situations. If you FaZe, you shrug your shoulders, you say, fair enough, call a timeout, detox, and come back stronger.
And they have come back incredibly strong with the full buy still. That economy's so strong on the T side these days, and it's going to give FaZe an excellent platform to build off of. ZywOo, of course, on his favorite AWP, and Apex will actually catch the timing to take out Nico in the initial engagement. Vitality finally with a man advantage to work with. And when they had this in the previous, it worked perfectly. Apex grabs a second, and that's the catalyst. Rain gone. Finally, coldzera able to trade him out, but this A-bomb site still got plenty of CT presence as the execute comes through.
Molotov going to force Alex away. Just opens up a little bit of ground for the T's to start to move into. It'd be important for Shox not to fall here. His team have the player advantage. They have plenty of grenades for a retake. We are getting towards the end of this half. A bomb plant is not really that much of a concern. Vitality need to hold on to these rounds instead. And Shox, patience proving to be a virtue. Olof pushes him, gives him the kill, and that should be the round to follow. But coldzera is still alive. He's still kicking, albeit on low HP. Has been finished off. Brokey now, the young Latvian, with so much pressure on his shoulders, with so much on the line. And AWP 1 verse 3 falls upon him. He's 14 and 6. He's had a blinder of a half so far. But he's being pushed, he's being pressured, and Shox showing some of that class that we know he possesses.
Utility usage really good, and ZywOo and Vitality just playing the situation. They're not going overly aggressive in the peaks, not giving Brokey anything to leverage and anything to work off of. ZywOo happy to sit in CT with his AWP. Shox uses a smoke so that Brokey doesn't necessarily know which angle he's sat on holding. So they get the frag, they get their 6th round on the board, and they go for the double AWP setup, except this time it's Alex picking up the secondary duties. And again, limited presence towards mid, but FaZe on this half buy only got one thing in mind. It's a fast play, looking like a contact in the B apartments.
Absolutely. Seems like the AWP decisions were based off Spawn and Shox with his M4. Something he couldn't have done with the AWP, and that's spray up through the smoke. He has relocated, repositioned to be more up close and personal. He wants to greet each and every one of these FaZe players hand to hand, face to face. And they're deciding against it. That's kind of rude.
Just leaving him hanging. I mean, you can get why they're relocating for FaZe. They tried the initial push. That didn't work. They've lost a player. Olaf's gone down to 13 HP. So happy just to back off of things and then try and make a play towards another area of the bomb site. But they have used a good amount of their utility in that initial push. They've got 1 smoke and 3 flashbangs to try and unlock this A bomb site, which currently has Alex with a fast rotation for ZywOo and Apex available. So there's so much ability just to pick players off. And with just the single smoke to isolate the AWPs, this could get very rough for FaZe.
No doubt, especially considering that Vitality have been pretty solid when it comes to these retakes. Pretty solid at not over-engaging, not overstaying their welcome, not getting too zealous on their approach. They've been more disciplined, more controlled. Now it needs to be ruthless aggression from FaZe, and Brokey has been tagged up significantly on his way in. The bomb is dropped in an awkward position, and Alex with a deagle alongside who else but ZywOo. This dynamic duo dispatching a FaZe. And Vitality, it was a solid start, a solid finish, and a very rough middle portion of the half. But it happens again with FaZe. Great start, and they just tail off. They run out of steam.
Yeah, it looks like, honestly, they're just losing momentum. Like, they get those initial rounds, everything is looking perfect, and then something switches, something changes, players start falling asleep, and they gift Vitality an entry back in, right? On that pistol round, Vitality had no business winning it. They pull it back, and then you start to see that confidence in the Frenchman. You start to see ZywOo hitting his shots, Alex on the secondary AWP, everybody starting to perform, and that's the Vitality we wanted to see.
It certainly is. It's going to be a very close halftime score. 8-7 could not be any closer. We'll find out what happens, but first, a break. We'll see you in a few. We are tied all up. 8-7. FaZe with a narrow lead that they would be thinking could have been so much better. Credit to Vitality though, Wolfie. They bounced back. They started and finished the half strong. And now we have to see if they can maybe start the second half just as well.
They need to try and capitalize on this. This seems to be the FaZe curse at the moment. That mid-game lack of just ability to keep the pressure on and just taking their foot off the pedal as Vitality will get mid-control for free. And again, Olaf actually completely alone towards that B bomb site. FaZe looking to mix things up, and normally you'll see teams going for a retake on the A bomb site. Instead, it's B, and Olaf going to miss the early cross as well. So these pistols, they're going to get a free bomb site, trying to capitalize on at least something, but RPK to take him out. And FaZe, they've got no map control towards this B side of the map now. Alex already into the murder hole is going to make life so difficult. Rain trying to go first in, but Shox is up close and personal with the Glock, and actually ZywOo is going to come in with another. Alex pounces, but can only get the first, and a 4-on-2 again for Cold and NiKo to try and get back into this bomb site.
It's hard to see any potential avenues back in either. There's no gaping weaknesses that you can look at and say, yeah, maybe a FaZe push this location, there's chances. It's going to have to come down to some pristine, solid aim, and they've both been tagged down significantly. That is going to call an end to the round. There is a worth in saving on both these players. They both have the Kevlar to play behind, so they can upgrade their pistols that much easier and run through into the next round. But in terms of the pistols, they've both gone the way of the Frenchman.
And I think that's a worrying sign for FaZe, right? We've said before, this map has to go their way. We don't see Vitality giving up their home ground of nuke. So for FaZe, they're going to need to be a little more consistent if they want to take this one the distance. Brokey going to be picking himself up a scout, and actually heavy investment in utility across the board for FaZe Clan. 3 HEs, which potentially we're going to be stacking somewhere as Vitality with 3 smokes straight out of spawn to completely lock out mid.
The haze descends upon middle, 4 smokes planted in the eyes of FaZe. Of course, I can't forget our boy Alex either. I said the Frenchman. He is repping UK. Can never forget that. We have to take them where we can. Rain in the meanwhile, though, going to be battered down by ZywOo. He is all alone on the site. The last beacon, the last bastion, the last safeguard.
And with that frag going down as well, FaZe are done with this round. The bomb's going to go down freely. Vitality will get away with it. And ZywOo, I think, will go and try and hunt some frags with that MAC-10 as well. But it's understandable from FaZe. When you go for this kind of a force buy, you put most of your presence towards one bomb site. If it works out, great. You find a few frags. Maybe you steal the round. If it doesn't, then just keep your hands on that scout. Those 3 deagles, they've still kept the majority of their utility as well. So it's going to turn what would be a full eco into a buy with at least a little bit of bite, as NiKo goes hunting for some exit frags, and we'll just spot RPK's head out. Neither player able to connect onto the other though, so looks like Vitality may get away with this one cleanly, although Apex is now going to try and pile on that pressure, try and at least take one of these deagles away. I really don't see the point in getting that aggressive there for Vitality. They have every advantage in the world, and they will just about manage to hold on, keep all 5 of those rifles and SMGs up, and try and look for a little bit of a bonus round here.
I think it's why they were more flirtatious around ramp. They didn't fully commit behind it. Smart plays at the end of the day. Vitality take the lead for the first time since the very beginning of this best of 3. Again, we're saying goodbye to a lot of incredible players and teams today, such as the nature of Katowice being such a stacked tournament. Could be saying goodbye to coldzera, the likes of NiKo, or perhaps even ZywOo.
The idea that we're only going to have one of the 3, Simple, ZywOo, and NiKo, making it through to Katowice is just insane. But that's the nature of the event. So competitive, as you said. And Vitality, they'll know the consequences of getting these sort of decisions wrong. Playing nicely into the early round, a passive engagement once more, and just not looking to make any mistakes. This is what we saw from FaZe, right? Against these sort of half buys, against the pistols. Just don't over-aggress. Take slow map control, use your utility, and make sure you don't get picked off.
FaZe at least not showing too much to be executed on by Vitality. Just going to keep them at bay in middle. Making sure the key angles are watched out for. So ladder short, but before the smoke can plume, coldzera cheekily backs himself into the corner and comes out swinging. There is a second player in ladder, which will be making a move in. Olofmeister, though, on the back of the van, is delivering headshots. And the Molotov down actually stops ZywOo from fully pushing in. He still gets his man Olof, who goes peeking up one too many times. And with a good Molotov tossed onto the site, that is going to stall the bomb plant, but this is where the superior firepower starts to rise to the top. And Brokey can do little but watch as this round goes the way of Vitality, who will be moving on to 10 rounds. Maybe Brokey can pull off some highlight reel-worthy plays with the scout. He's certainly good enough, but Shox is no scrub with the AK, and he dishes out the fatal blow.
For a split second there, you thought Olof was going to pull off the clip moment, didn't you? With the Deagle, finds the first headshot, and you just start to believe, but it's shut down as quickly as it begins by Vitality. And honestly, they've been playing everything beautifully so far. Interestingly, Alex is going to go for the MAC-10 coming into this round when FaZe do go for their first full buy and do get the AWP into the hands of Brokey. So we'll have to see how that pans out. And it looks like Vitality want to go quickly here. Shock straight through the Molotov, trying to take the fight to the CT side. Catches Brokey in no man's land, but not before he's found the opening pick. Apex traded in the early engagement, and Vitality just looking to keep up the pace, tagging Nico through the smokes, but they're still all stuck in the ramp, and now Rain goes for the swing, finds the body of Shox as Alex takes the B bomb site. And was this all a distraction play? The bomb's starting to make its way back through spawn, and Olof perhaps with a hint of an idea of what's gone on.
But he has no idea because Alex could have him dead to rights. He's letting him pass. He would have heard that. 100% heard the footsteps. There's still so much time to play with. There's no rush to get that bomb through B-apps. It's a freebie of a kill. And now Alex can turn his attentions elsewhere. The Molotov, though, is going to get subsided by Goldzera, who pushes straight into the kitchen side itself. Incendiary onto site. This is going to stall the bomb a little bit longer, or they're going to have to plant in amongst the smoke. They decide for the latter rather than the former. Alex still using that MAC-10 up close, where it's had its most devastating. And Goldzera and Nico have both been swept aside, leaving it on Rain to try and pick up the pieces. He had a phenomenal start to this map, but he's just carved the head out of Alex and ZywOo. But the strength in numbers approach allows the tank to stand tall, and Vitality 11-8 lead.
They needed that as well, Vitality. They're just starting to build themselves up ahead of steam, and you think if Rain gets away with something like that coming into the second half, the first rifle buy for FaZe, that could really galvanize the CT side. Instead, RPK saves the day with the Krieg at range, and Vitality start to establish what is looking like a more and more dominant lead. FaZe will be back onto the half buy once again. Deagle's almost entirely across the board. A few smokes to work with as well, but ZywOo, he's starting to come into a fine vein of form as he picks up Rain for the opening frag in this round.
The opening frag and what should be the start of another collapse on FaZe. They have very little to really fend off against this powerhouse team that is seemingly feeling it now. I can't even say they had a slow start. They did win the pistol. They went 2-0 up, and things started to just slip away. But the mark of truly great teams is even when they're struggling, they can still grind out results, and that's seemingly what Vitality have been able to do today. Now, don't write FaZe off just yet. They will have a rifle round coming up next in round 21. I would expect they're at least going to have a couple more chances to turn this map in their favor.
And they're going to need to take every single opportunity they've got. Vitality, if they can get through this one, they'll be on 12, 4 rounds away from stealing FaZe's map pick and heading to Nuke. And you can't emphasize how good Nuke is for Vitality enough as Shox. In fact, ZywOo picking up the AWP, going for an aggressive early peek towards the back bench, not quite able to find it, and it's a 3-man stack here from FaZe, but as Apex finds the first frag onto Olof, Vitality look like they're going to get through this one cleanly. Brokey taken out, Goldzera at least getting something with the Deagle, trying to stay alive towards the back of site, but he can do absolutely nothing. Vitality roll on through, and they are just 4 rounds away from taking this first map. FaZe will have the buy, but it needs to start working now.
Exactly. I was trying to emphasize that FaZe, they may be down, but they're not out. But you better believe if they lose this round, Vitality in touching distance of taking Mirage. Again, we've already discussed how much of a fortress Nuke is for this side. So FaZe are knowing the pressure is on. This is where they need to dig deep. They need an inspirational play. There'll be nothing too aggressive to start things off, though. No middle pushes. Here come the flood of grenades again. Flashes, smokes, tossed out. This is drawing out a lot of grenades from FaZe, though. tossing in a Molotov and a smoke of their own.
Okay, ZywOo, why not? Takes the spray through the smoke and is happy to just pick Nico off in consequence. So somehow Vitality find themselves the opening pick, and now they're really looking to pile this pressure on towards the B bomb site. ZywOo boosted up, trying to find that pick as Cold just thinks about getting aggressive for a split second. Now he starts to push, looking for the timing. Apex gonna dodge those bullets for now, but ZywOo is still looking completely the wrong way in towards ladder room as the rest of the team start to make the rotation. The nades start to be used towards the B bomb site. And Vitality, with 45 seconds left, actually a little bit short of map control. They will start to take the apartments, but Cold could really throw a spanner in the works from short. ZywOo now starting to think about it, but he also wants to cover the flank as he peeks into the AWP. And FaZe, they've got an opportunity to shut this one down here. They've got presence towards this B bomb site. Olof on a fantastic angle to try and stop it here and now as ZywOo finally starts to peek. The flashbang's good. Cold takes out the AWP, but there's more presence coming. Brokey finally chimes in with one of his own, but Vitality still getting onto the site. 3-on-2. The bomb going down, and with RPK on low HP, he has to push. Rain at least able to find that headshot, and can FaZe find the retake?
It's not looking good. Rain has been ditched by Alex, and now the AWP on Brocky can do little but actually just back away and see, am I being flanked? There is enough time to feasibly go for it. He does have a kit, but the issue is that he's outmanned and he has no utility to speak of. So he will be saving their economy in the dumps additionally. There were chances there for FaZe. There were opportunities to go for. I can't help but feel they're getting a little bit too passive now, though. I'd like to see a timeout called here, perhaps. Just go over a few things. The map's not done just yet. They can still come back into this.
There you go. You asked for it, and it will be delivered. FaZe go for the timeout, and it's understandable because Vitality at the moment are just starting to pull their strings. The FaZe looks so good initially, and it has just fallen off a cliff since then. Vitality really playing as a team that execute the trades onto that B bomb site so efficient. There were no mistakes made, no missed shots, and that's the terrifying thing for FaZe is Vitality, they're starting to really hit their stride on FaZe's map pick. If this goes wrong, then they head to Nuke, and Vitality just keep that momentum rolling. It's going to be a long day at the office for FaZe.
Another little stat to bring in as well. FaZe are winning 8-7 at half-time. It's now 8-13. They have won 0 rounds on their CT side. That is 6 on the bounce for Vitality. And most of them have been pretty comfortable, pretty convincing. It's that tag team duo again of ZywOo and Alex who have 39 kills between the two of them. And now FaZe, after the timeout, decide not to go for a full buy behind the AWP. They did have enough funds, but it would have left them with very little utility. So they're playing for the full 30 rounds if they were to come back and win this, assuming they don't pick up this round. They do have some firepower to lean on. Going a bit more aggressively through middle is Rain, but he decides better of that, especially as the AWP shot is rained out on the A side. So that does gain the attention and garner the attention of those two players.
Vitality looking like they're happy to sit back at the moment, just wait for that aggression from FaZe, and luckily for Rain, he doesn't head towards top mid because Alex is there with the Creek scope, ready to finish the job as soon as he does. And again, Vitality playing this early round excellently, just using their utility, allowing FaZe to get aggressive, but holding the angle should they overextend. And now they just need to pick these players off. Don't let Brokey get into a position where he can start punishing with that AWP. If they don't walk into him one by one, he's going to struggle to really get anything going. And at the moment, they're not even heading towards his bomb site. The bomb going to start to make its way up short. They've got a lurk in shocks down towards the A bomb site as well, where only Nico and Rain lie in wait.
Oh, Brokey's going aggressively. This could actually harm FaZe a huge amount, but he's looking for information. There's 25 seconds to go, and Vitality, by and large, haven't really got too much of the map underway. Brokey's going to kick things off. Alex is going to get caught in the back. Now, fortunately for Vitality, neither of those players, the bomb carrier, the downside is they haven't fully dealt with all these angles. So Nico's just going to hide in Palace. He's going to try and deny this bomb from being planted. He's waiting to hear that sound cue come in. Flashbang's going to skew with his vision. He's tapping. He does deny the bomb plant. And the round is going to go the way of FaZe. Their first round on CT side comes out of nowhere.
They needed something to work, and the half-buy finally pays off for FaZe. The Deagles start to sing, and they find their round, although arguably gifted to them by Vitality, wasting so much time and then just not committing to the bomb site, not clearing out A efficiently. And Nico, aggressive in towards the Palace, is easily taking down the bomb planter, easily finds his team the round. That will allow FaZe to buy coming into this one. It will give them half a leg to stand on in this matchup, as again, Shock's trying to go quickly, but this time Nico's got his number. He goes down to 13 HP, but he's found FaZe the early advantage, and Apex, desperate to get something back, is going to be held off by the smoke from Cold.
Had a great spawn to go for the peak. It was no idea regarding the fake, because Vitality couldn't really push off the back of it. He died so early on. So it looks a bit foolish. You can understand if Shox is feeling it, a player of his caliber. Unleash him now and again. Just let him do his own thing. Doesn't work out in the short term. Nico hemorrhaging though, down to 13. They only have one smoke and one Molotov to play with here, FaZe. There's still Molotovs and flashes at their disposal, but they have just tossed out a bunch of smokes onto the site of Vitality, so they're going to have to push behind this. Apex looking to try an entry through on the catwalk, but it's a 2v4 stacked against Vitality. ZywOo joined by RPK. And it's a slow peek round the corner. RPK is dealt with. ZywOo using that smoke to submerge. He's going to come up for air any second now. Will he be taking a player with him? You better believe it. And I think he just saw the second player behind the pillars as well, which is Brokey, who would do well not to peek anymore, as there is a flank coming in from Nico. Valiant attempt by ZywOo, but FaZe do pick up their 10th round. And Vitality call themselves a timeout as well, trying to work out what went wrong. You can see their economy absolutely all over the place. 3 players floating around the 2K mark. Alex and Shox with enough cash to buy, however, so decision time for Vitality as FaZe actually go for the double AWP setup. So I can see a world here where a couple of pistols, some smokes to lock those AWPs out, you get up close and personal, you get in their face, and perhaps there's an opportunity there, but it really does feel like FaZe are starting to get their second wind. They're starting to believe they can do this again, and Vitality, they would do well to sniff that out now. Vitality don't need to push the alarm bells just yet. A lot of that did come off Shox going for that early peak, getting dealt with, and then FaZe could somewhat stabilize. Even then, there were a couple of moments where you thought maybe FaZe is going to get caught in a transitional period, rotating from B through middle. Vitality, though, have decided to pull the trigger and go for the force buy. If this backfires, FaZe will be close to equality once more, and the first kill goes the way of Brokey. Apex has been sniped out of his boots. The only advantage here is ZywOo's going to get himself the AWP. Shox with the bomb on his back, trying to play the edge of this smoke, but he's got Rain to contend with. Needs to be a little bit cautious. If he loses that bomb on the A ramp, the round could be over before it's even really started. Vitality looking for the A split, but Rain with a quick headshot finishes off Shox. I don't think he saw the bomb. He hasn't called the rotations from B just yet, and FaZe won't be able to hold on to it for the time being. RPK and ZywOo going to swing from connector. RPK finds one, but immediately traded. Rain holding down the site before he's finally taken out, and now Brokey, fully blinded, will allow the cross. The bomb's still got to be recovered, and a fast flank already coming in from Olof. Brokey just has to stay alive, just has to buy time for this flank, because ZywOo and Alex, they're not looking that way at all. Finally, ZywOo finds another, taking out Cold, but this is where the flank comes in. Olof sneaking his way around. Brokey makes the noise. Alex spotted out and taken out. It's all onto ZywOo. The AWPer stuck on site, switches out to the Deagle. He knows Olof is behind him. The flash will go past him, so perhaps a chance. Brokey tagged up as well, but ZywOo finally spots out the first. Olof the next to wander into the crosshairs. ZywOo misses the shot, and FaZe, that's a let-off and a half. They will find their 11th. They gave him the opportunities. They gave him the 1v1s, but ZywOo can't quite convert. If I was a betting man, I would have just lost my house there, Wolfie. Once he lands the Deagle to one-on-one post-plant ZywOo, I'm thinking it's over. I'm thinking this map's over. But Olof, never count this grizzled veteran out. This guy is capable of great things. ZywOo, though, is going to be very disappointed he missed the shot. It's a shot that normally he would be landing. That's the high expectations he has from himself and we have of him. Kind of a victim of his own success, I suppose, in that respect. Double Up's still in play, though, for FaZe. They did lose 4 players, it's important to mention. So their economy isn't great either. Even though Vitality haven't gone for a full buy, they have enough pistols to make this a little bit of a scary situation. But Rain is going to do his best to calm things down with his M4. He lets the M4 do the talking for him. He is taking damage left and right, but he is standing firmly on the site, drawing fire towards himself. Vitality, however, are going to have a bomb plant. coldzera playing patiently, doesn't fall for the shoulder peek. And a very important kill goes his way. Now the grenades can start to fire their way in. There's 3 smokes. They can cordon off these areas, but the bomb's actually planted out in the open for ramp. Nico gonna gobble up the kill onto ZywOo, and that should be the round following, especially as Apex can't hold the line against olofmeister. But Shox, with the smoke in his eyes, not gonna be able to pierce through there and stop the bomb from getting defused. So FaZe have a 12.
FaZe are slowly reeling Vitality in. The double AWP setup works out. They dispatch of the pistols relatively cleanly as well, so the investment not going to be too significant across that CT side. And FaZe, they are looking better and better. I feel like Vitality had their opportunity to shut this one down when FaZe went into their lull, but they are coming back strong now, as Vitality will be able to get the buy. 3 Kriegs and AK. ZywOo, of course, on the AWP, and it's a fully hearted A execute to start things off. All 5 players committing, no control towards mid, nothing towards B. Vitality just want to hit this A bomb site, and it's going to be a quick hit as well as the nades start to come over the top.
A little bit concerned for them, though, because Rain is a master of this position, and there's no smokes following. There's no smokes at all, actually. Vitality have just been stopped instantly, and they've lost 2 players. This is a complete collapse. And Wolfie, the other aspect of this is that FaZe have already shown time and time again that they like to send a flank around the back. olofmeister did it a couple rounds ago, it won them the round. So they have to keep Shox here. This is effectively meaning that ZywOo and Alex have got to try and get picked somehow from ramp, and they're gift-wrapped one for free from olofmeister.
Something given to the T side at the very least, but the Frenchman's so concerned about the flank. Shox is having to cover every possible angle, and what do Vitality do here? They had an early plan. They wanted to hit in towards that A-bomb site quickly. They got absolutely shut down. A couple of quick frags went the way of FaZe. So how do they start to recover this round? The rotations have been good from the CT side as well. They've got Cold in towards short. They've got Brokey. So actually both AWPs holding the B-bomb site. Not conventional, but I can see how it would work as the bomb starts to make its way into the apps, and it is going to be this double AWP hold of the B-bomb site to try and stay firm. Molotov perfectly timed, 25 seconds left. That is going to slowly eat away at Vitality's chances as they look to plan the execute. Cold trained in on the cross. The flash will do nothing. He'll get the first onto Shox. ZywOo unable to trade. Alex at least gets one onto Rain, but that's a bygone fact. ZywOo gets another and perhaps opens up half an opportunity. Gets the no-scope as well. That's the bomb down. Nico takes out his teammate in the meanwhile, and it's the 1v1. It's ZywOo versus Nico. The 2 heroes, and Vitality will get it. ZywOo with a quad kill on the AWP, and he rescues that round almost single-handedly for Vitality.
Ooh la la. ZywOo, that is absolutely ridiculous. With 1 second to go, he gets the bomb down. No scoping on the side, effectively playing an entry AWP roll. And I thought FaZe had called that perfectly. The reason they played the 2 AWPs over on B, which is quite unorthodox, is because they had a Molotov and they had a flash on those 2 players. So they knew that they could stall for as long as possible. But again, what they didn't expect is ZywOo to just jump out the window and say, "What's up, bros?" and just start no-scoping everybody. That's unbelievable. And if Vitality now win, that is the moment. That clutch, that 4K from ZywOo is the moment that got Vitality across the finish line. FaZe going to dig right in, though, with a buy of their own. And again, who else but Rain up close? He has the MP9. It's a very similar start to this round for Vitality, except they haven't gone as aggressively. They haven't drawn out any of these grenades, and the flashbang was not preceding the push. It's a play that Rain goes for time and time again. Maybe that's why they went for it. They didn't want to telegraph it. Nico using the perimeter of the smoke to his advantage, but there's going to be another one there greeting him with flashbangs. And Brokey's days should be numbered. He's on the firebox, living up to its name. There's Molotovs all around him, and ZywOo, who's shifting into a different gear, a different class, continues to lay waste to FaZe, making them all disappear one by one. coldzera and olofmeister now have the arduous task of trying to retake this site. It's a 2v4.
So little utility to work with as well. Olof has one smoke, and FaZe, they're thinking about the save. Cold is starting to think about the possibility because the economy is absolutely busted for FaZe Clan. They invested everything into that round, and as quickly as they could buy it, ZywOo was the one to take it away. He really has shifted to another level, and Vitality, they will have their map point. They will be one round away from stealing FaZe's map pick before we head to Nuke. And what a change of fortunes as well. FaZe, they've been back and forth, they've been up and down, but they're finding their lulls at the worst possible time. Cold and Olof able to save, but it doesn't make the situation look any better for FaZe.
You know, I said before about how this isn't boxing. You can't exhaust a team out by doing the rope-a-dope. Well, somehow Vitality have done it. FaZe seemingly threw all the haymakers. They gassed themselves out, now there's no plan B. I'm surprised we're not seeing another tactical timeout called here from FaZe. Okay, there we go.
They just did it at the last second because they heard you, but...
That's what I like to hear, Yanko.
They had to go for it, don't they? They need something to change. It felt like the fortunes have gone back and forth, and now Vitality are just taking advantage of every mistake FaZe are making. And with 3 rounds to finish the job here, Vitality, 3 opportunities. Cash not great on that T side, so potentially I'm looking for the silver lining here. If FaZe can take the first one, get that economic reset, then realistically Vitality only really having one more opportunity to finish the job. But they've only got 2 M4s, a UMP on the floor there, an MP9 for Olof Meister, Rain on the CZ75. So the buy isn't what FaZe would have hoped for to try and repel a ZywOo who is going from strength to strength, and Alex joining him as well. 21 frags. RPK down there with 9, just trying to be a little bit of a dead weight, but still Vitality push on through. And can they finish this one last round? All 5 players heading towards the B-bomb site this time as they look to take up some early presents.
I mean, the issue is that RPK is not there to be a straight-up carry. He's going to have his moments. Brokey, however, is carrying FaZe hard. There are 2 or 3 players that you'd put over him to be out fragging. Coldzera, Olof, Nico should all be up there. Rain has been consistently, but he's not necessarily the player he'd like to be in that position. So FaZe needs somebody else to help him out. And that man is going to be called upon again. Grenade out, significant damage, chunking the bulk of Vitality. And now Olof with the MP9. There's a triple spray from the Swede. Able to trade out for the SG, but he's run out of life, run out of time. Apex a measly 3 HP to his name. A 2v3 retake, very winnable for FaZe.
The damage is done as well. Apex on 3 HP, 52 for Alex. Can FaZe get back in here? They have all of the rifles to work with. The SMG onto Rain as well. As Alex looks to stall the play, Molotov goes deep. That will force Rain to consider a new angle as Nico first through the window takes the head off of Alex, and it's all onto Apex. He's got 3 HP. He's dinking up Nico, but his position is known. Coldzera will finish the job. And FaZe Clan, they will have 13. The economy of Vitality will start to creak, and perhaps we will be seeing an overtime here.
And you can see why they all just rushed towards him in unorthodox positions and scary positions. They didn't have a kit there, Wolfie. That was actually very close to being a clutch from Apex. Whether he knew it or not, a couple more seconds may have been enough time to get Vitality across the finish line. As it stands, though, the economic seesaw continues to up in favor of FaZe. Vitality, they're having to go for a half buy, including an MP5 of all weapons.
Emulating MBK, there is RPK picking himself up the MP5. Couple of pistols as well, so the investment fairly hefty from Vitality, looking to pick up the utility and looking to up the pace here. Fast play again, but the nade's good from FaZe. ZywOo, RPK and Apex all tagged up as the fast push looks to come in. The M4s need to find some frags at this point. Olof, top of the smoke with the spray down, can't quite connect. Cold there to bail him out in the meanwhile, and the frags still going the way of the FaZe man, finally taken out by Apex inside of the smoke. And a 3v3, Vitality should be able to get this bomb down, but a cheeky play coming in. Nico straight through it will find the first. And a 3v2, Alex and Shox, can they hold this site down?
Unlikely, but we've seen crazier things happen. That 1D wasn't far off, but his compadre, his partner in crime, has been arrested by Brokey Zorp. Shox going to be re-peeking. He didn't really have many opportunities or choices. He knew that incendiaries were tossed his way. He knew he was being encircled from all angles, so he came out, he went out on his shield. But we have gone the distance. Who would have guessed this when FaZe took a 6-2 lead in the first half and Vitality were in real trouble? Yet here we are. Both teams going to have full buys. Both teams can have everything they could possibly desire. And they're going to make sure they have the correct strat to support the buy from Vitality. They call their last timeout.
This is the game we wanted to see, right? When FaZe started taking that early lead, you became terrified. Then they started to fall off and you thought, oh no, Vitality are just going to storm on through here, but they've come back strong. And this is their opportunity now to force that overtime to potentially take map 1. And they're going to go heavy on the investment. Double AWP setup for coldzera and Brokey. As ZywOo picks up his favorite gun in the world, 29 kills to his name, top of the server at the moment. And this is the form you want to see from your star player in an absolutely crucial elimination game.
He had a bit of a slow start in the first half. We said he had the clutch, had a couple of big moments, but it's really been this T half. And we've seen what the Magician has up his sleeves, and it's a whole bunch of AWP frags. And now they're lining up for a potential set play. 2 players heading towards B. Of course, they can quickly wrap around in underpass. Trying to draw out some grenades. Early encounter. Gonna see coldzera holding off, but ZywOo makes his presence felt with the AWP. It's a smoke that has to be tossed out for Olof to keep himself healthy. But now the aggression is going through on the A side. This could be the final play of this map. And Apex has found his man of Rain, who is behind the triple box. Nico caught between 2 angles of aggression. But the second player of Shox actually pieces out there and leaves his player high and dry. 2v3.
The damage done as well. ZywOo and Shox both tagged up heavily. This is going to need another hero play in. What 2 players on the server to try and make it happen? ZywOo and Shox, 2 of the high flyers of this Vitality roster, are going to start to make their way out of ramp. ZywOo staying scoped in so he doesn't give any cues away, although he will abandon that as soon as I say it. Trying to make his way through the sandwich. There's a smoke on the ground there as well, so potentially they could smoke off both jungle and CT if ZywOo can pick that second smoke up, or Shox picks it up for him, and that perhaps opens some opportunities. The Molotov will give the game away somewhat for Vitality with 30 seconds left on the clock, but FaZe have rotated most of their presence away, and indeed ZywOo gonna pick himself up the second smoke, lines up the new angle, and it's gonna be onto Brokey to try and hold this one down as the execute starts to come in. ZywOo fully blinded by his teammates' flashbang, but they should be able to get the bomb down. Olof completely smoked off on that second AWP. Will have to try and make the rotation.
He's got close enough as well that all 3 of them can push back in together as a united, cohesive unit and try and puncture in and reclaim what was once theirs. ZywOo up close, one of the best AWPers when it comes to these close encounters, and that's why nearly flicking across to the second kill, which could have been the round done, could have been the map done, but Brokey and Olof are still alive, only for a few more moments, and Olof the last to fall. Vitality clutch the 3v2, and they take the map of FaZe.